Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 9 of Sumo. This is the Sumo Summary Show for Monday, the 20th, and let's just jump right in. No preamble today. We're just going to get right to it. All right, that's another big day of sumo, guys. Spoilers obviously for day 9, but man, some things changed today with the results that we're about to check out. Okay, matches and topics. Absent Rikishi. Kitsunowaka pulling out of the tournament today. No surprise if you saw his match on day 8. He landed hard on his leg, had to be taken out in the big wheelchair. Turns out he broke a bone in his shin, I believe, and obviously won't be coming back to action this tournament. We'll look at his list, his score when we get to the breakdown for the Makuuchi division and see if we think he might end up being demoted down to Juryo. But he does have to pull out of the tournament, and we hope that he has a speedy recovery and is able to come back perhaps in March. I'm not sure about, the nature of the injury to the extent that it takes a lot of rehabilitation or not. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so let's look into it. We got day 9. Let's start down in Juryo. And Waka Ikari continues to impress at Juryo 13. He got his Kachikoshi on day 9, which is fantastic. He'll definitely be staying in the Juryo division. He'll be going way up the Banzuke probably, especially if he can get double-digit wins or better. And he should, the way he's wrestling, he should get 10 wins or more. But he's now 8-1 and still on the leaderboard. He beat Juryo 12, Kiryuko, who's now 4-5. Koto Eho having a decent tournament, also way down at the bottom of the Banzuke, so good for him. 6-3 now. He'll probably be staying in the Juryo division. Let's see. Nabatame at the very bottom, Juryo 14, also 6-3. So a lot of the guys right down at the bottom who would be the natural choices for demotion looks like they're going to get their Kachikoshi. He beat Oshomi, giving him a third loss. Unfortunately, the other man in either Jiro 13 or 14, Daishoho, not the case. So he is 1-8 now. That's a Makekoshi, a losing record, and for sure will be going down back down to Makushita in the March tournament. All right, Shishi gets his Kachikoshi at Juryo 4, went 8-1 today by beating Mitoryu. So congratulations to him on Kachikoshi, and he'll be going up the Banzuke and perhaps even back into the top division. It just depends how much he keeps winning. Shirokuma went to 6-3 by beating Shimazu Umi. Tsurugisho still has yet to win. He's 0-9 now. Tochi Taikai got the win to go to 7-2. Ryuden also 7-2 by beating Tomokaze. Asakoru couldn't get a seventh win today. He's now 6-3. He lost to Hideno Umi, who's 5-4. But Juryo 5, Ao Nishiki went to 8-1, got his Kachikoshi today. So all the guys that one loss maintained today. So the same three guys are on the top of the leaderboard. He beat Juryo 1 Kaio, who's less than 500 at 4-5 right now. The other Juryo 1 Sadanumi went above 500 at 5-4 by beating Shimano Umi. So we've got Tsurugisho at 0-9 and Shimano Umi at 0-9. So, but they're both still trying to come in and get wins. Both are high enough up the Banzuke that probably just 4 or 5 wins will be enough to keep them in the top division. But if they go like 2-13 or even 3-12, that could mean demotion. It'll just depend on what the requirements are. Okay. Up to the top division here. We started with Kageyaki getting a win to go to 3-6 over Shiden. He's a Juryo man. Koto Shoho got his second win of the tournament. He's now 2-7. He beat Thomas Shoho. The rookie seems destined to be headed back down for Juryo. He's now 3-6. Shonana Umi went to 4-5 by beating Toki Hayate. Onokatsu went to 6-3, beating Nishiki Fuji. And then here we are with the walkover win, Kitanowaka. So he's 4-5. So four is the most wins he's going to get. And so he's basically going to finish the tournament the equivalent of 4-11. Uh, at Maegashira 15, 4-11. I would say that's probably getting dropped back down to Juryo. And it's a shame because, it's obviously based on injury, but that's the way sumo works. So he can probably think he's going to have to battle his way back up from Juryo. Now, he's been Juryo in 2024, I believe. Yeah, he was Juryo back in November when he was Juryo 1. He went 9-6. He was Juryo 3 in July, went 8-7, went back up, got to Maegashira 16, couldn't get the Kachikoshi. Yeah, so it's literally been an elevator. He's been on the elevator, they call it, back and forth between the Juryo division and the Makuuchi division. So it's just a shame that it happened this time because of injury. He'd won three in a row and he lost a couple, and now on day nine to have to pull out like that. But he's no stranger to being down in Juryo and fighting his way back up. So let's hope he can do that again. He's in Okunoumi's stable, Hakaku, where Okunumi is now an Oyakata, and he fights with Hokuto Fuji's in his stable. Who else is in that stable? Let's take a look. Uh, that's about it. Those are the two top ranked guys, and then we have some guys in the lower ranks. So, all right. Takeda Fuji versus Kim Bozan. This was probably the highlight match of the day for most people. It was a really good match, so if you have a chance to see it, I'm sure it's on Don Don Sumo's top five of the day. Kim Bozan 9-0, won obviously to maintain his undefeated streak, and he beat Takeda Fuji, who's now 7-2. So not on the one-loss leaderboard anymore. Kotanage win for Kim Bozan. So they're finally tomorrow, when we look at the matchups for day 10, you're going to see they finally are bringing him up to fight at Komusubi tomorrow. Kim Bozan has Abi on day 10. Hakuoho got another win over Meisei. He's now 6-3. Looks like he'll be getting his Kachikoshi. Midori Fuji, just his second win of the tournament, beating Mitakeumi. Both men are now 2-7. So that's a very dangerous place to be. Tamawashi unfortunately can't keep up his winning ways. He lost again today to Endo, who's now at 4-5. But Tamawashi's still very much in the chance of getting his Kachikoshi. Ichi Yamamoto improves to 6-3 by beating Oshoma. Takayasu also improves to 6-3. Yay. He beat Takada Fuji. Takayasu on my team, so that's good for me. My team did well today. I got 4 wins out of 6 matches. Chio Shoma, the Maegashira 5 that no one expected anything of. 8-1. So we got his Kachikoshi today. He's the only Rikishi left with only one loss. So we have Kim Bozan undefeated, then Chio Shoma with one loss, and a few guys with 2 losses. And we'll look at the leaderboard in a moment. So he is maintaining his spot, and they will pull him up to fight higher ranked opponents very soon. He beat Shirana Umi, the Maegashira 9 today. Shodai got another win, back-to-back wins for Shodai, beating Gonoyama, so he's now 4-5. Oho maintains his 2 loss by getting a win over Atami Fuji today. Uh, uh, Katatsukashi, which is a slightly unusual shoulder pull-down Kimarite. So Oho getting that win with a nice technique there. Wakataka Kage, the Komusubi, beating Takanosho, who's now 2-7, 1 loss away from a Makekoshi. Wakataka Kage improves to 4-5. Abi losing to Kirishima. So the Maegashira 1 Oshidashi win for him over the Komusubi. Kirishima, just what a story. 0-3, 3 loss start, now 6 wins in a row. So looks like he's going to get his Kachikoshi at Maegashira 1, and that's great. That means he could be moving up to Komusubi. We'll talk more about that. Obviously, both Komusubi still very much in the chance of getting their Kachikoshi, but Abi, if he can get his wins, will probably take over the spot vacated by Wakamoto Haru here. I can't imagine that Wakamoto Haru is going to win every single match between now and day 15 and avoid a Makekoshi record, an eight-loss record. So he'll be vacating one of the Sekewake slots. Now, somebody could jump over both Komusubi to take it if they have a really strong record. Say, if Kirishima ended up with a better record than both Komusubi, maybe he'd leapfrog over them. But we'll just have to see how that goes. Tobizaru, the loser there against Wakamoto Haru, to go to 5-4. Then the upset that pretty much nobody thought would happen today. Hirata Umi beating Hoshoru in the first of the three Ozeki matches by Tsukiotoshi. Hirata Umi had fought Hoshoru 6 times in the past, and Hoshoru had won every single time. Hirata Umi had never beaten the Ozeki, but today he showed up and he found a way to win. The crowd went crazy. Hirata Umi now 5-4 and Hoshoru, that's pretty much it. They won't maybe officially say that, but now the best he could do if he wins every match between now and day 15 would be to go 12-3. Of course, he'd have to beat both of the other Ozeki to do that, and that would be good, but it would have been a lot better when he was if he was 13-2. And the thing is, even if he were able to go 12-3 and you thought, oh, that's just one different than 13-2, it's the fact that he lost 3 times in the first, almost the first week. In the first 9 days, he lost 3 times, and all three of the opponents he lost to are rank and file Maegashira wrestlers. Atami Fuji's an M2, Shodai's an M4, Harada Umi's an M4 and M5, I can't remember. So he hasn't even been losing to like Komusubi or Sekewake. These are rank Maegashira wrestlers. So that is not what you expect from somebody who wants to be the top sumo man in the whole system, Yokozuna. So yeah, I think he's done, and we won't have a Yokozuna, guys, in March. So we'll talk more about that in the wrap-up show after the whole bus show is over and we know everything that's happened. I still think we're going to get a new Yokozuna in 2025. I think somebody will step up, but it might not be Hoshoru. It might be Takeda Fuji, or it could be Onosato, or it's hard to say right now. And I don't even think after this performance, not that he's not going to rebound tomorrow and probably still have good numbers, but I don't even think Hoshoru is going to win this U show anymore. I think it's going to be one of these other guys that's higher on the leaderboard because now he's 3 wins behind Kim Bozan, which is pretty crazy when you say that out loud. And he's now equal in record to Onosato, so they're basically equal as far as the Ozeki go. So huge win for Hirata Umi there, and just dashing the hopes of Hoshoryu. Okay, Ura beat. Speaking of another Ozeki that was supposed to be getting, in line for promotion to Yokozuna, Ura beats Kotozakura today in a match that, I commented on the video when I made it for Patreon that Kotozakura just had no business losing. Not that Ura's not a skilled wrestler and people love him and he's really fun to watch, but Kotozakura should have won that match. There's no reason that Ura should have been able to get in on that match and have a chance to win it, but he did. And so, yeah, there's definitely something going on with Kotozakura. So he's now 3-6, looking like he's probably going to be Kadoban in March, unless he just really rallies and starts to win again. And then the final match of the day, we were going to have all three Ozeki losing today, but Ozeki Onosato stood up for the Ozeki pride and got the win over Daisho in the final match of the day, Hataki Komi. I thought it would be a more spirited match, but Daisho didn't put up much of a fight, and Onosato was able to go to 6-3 with the win. And Daisho was on the 2-loss board on the leaderboard, but now is at 6-3. So he's pretty much, none of the 6-3 guys are out of the hunt for the cup. They're all still very much in it, but with only what 6 days left to go, they're 3 wins behind the leader right now. So that's quite an amount to. You got to hope Kim Bozon's going to just lose, lose, lose. I don't see it happening. Kim Bozon looked pretty good today. Not that I think Kim Bozon necessarily is going to win the U show. That's still unlikely, I think, but he's still looking very strong. Okay, so yeah, some upsets for sure. Both Ozeki losing. I think both of those matches are upsets. I think Abi losing is an upset here against Kirishima, and some people would even say Kim Bozan beating Takeru Fuji is a bit of an upset. Although it was the first time these guys have ever fought each other, so there's no head-to-head previous. And Kim Bozan is just on fire right now. What can you say? All right, so let's look at the leaderboard. So there you go. Kimbozan all alone. Maegashira 14 at 9-0. Only one guy with one loss, and that's Chiyoshima. The M5 is at 8-1. And then we have Oho. Let's not forget about Oho and Takeda Fuji at 7-2. Both can get their Kachikoshi tomorrow. We'll look at the day 10 matchups in a minute. So, no Sanyaku guys, no Sekewake, no Ozeki in sight here. And like I said, a lot of guys at 6-3, but 3 wins behind on day 9. That's quite a bit to make up. Juryo, they don't list all the guys who are 7-2, but right now we have 3 guys tied for first. I would guess that one of these 3 guys will probably win the Juryo championship. Um, Shishi, Aonishiki, and Waka Ikari all at 8-1, so they all got their Kachikoshi today. And we'll look at who these guys haven't fought each other yet, I don't think, Shishi and Aonishiki. So that's a big matchup coming up sometime soon. And they'll bring up Waka Ikari and have him fight some of the higher ranked guys soon as well. Okay. Let's see. Takeda Fuji is in Isagahama. So let's jump over there and see how Enho is doing. Has he fought again? Yes, okay, and he got another win. So he got his Kachikoshi at Sandamne 4. 4 wins is a Kachikoshi when you only fight 7 times. So great for him. He lost on day 2, his very first match, but now he's got 4 wins in a row. So he's looking good. My guess is he'll go 6-1, but he might go 5-2. Uh, and he'll be up in the third tier division in March. So congratulations to Enho, looking good. Glad that he's making his way back up. Don't expect him. Let's be honest. I don't expect Enho to get back up to the top division. He's just not big enough. Um, he had a run where he was able to do it, but man, it was a while ago now. Let's see. I want to say it was 4 or 5 years ago. When was the last time he was in the top division? Just yeah. So here was when he was a Maegashira wrestler, 2020. Okay, so I was right. That's almost 5 years ago now. And he got his high. He was here. He was Maegashira 4, 6, 9, 11, and then down. And this is, then he had to pull out of a tournament, and then he pulled out of a tournament, and then he had this long string of absences where he hurt himself. But before that, yeah, that was on his way up. So the highest he's ever been is Maegashira 4. He made his Makuuchi debut in 2019. So it's 2019, 2020 when everybody was really like, woohoo, this guy's awesome. Look how small he is. And he fights really well. And he has a lot of technique and stuff. But I don't think he'll ever make the top division again. But I think he'll make it back to Juryo. And he can be an interesting and fun fighter in Juryo. But I might eat my words, but I'm guessing he won't make it back up to the top division. Okay, day 10. Let's see what we got down in Juryo. Navatame at 6-3 goes against Hatsuyama, so he needs 2 more to stay in. Koto Eho needs 2 more. He's got a pretty easy target tomorrow in Shimazu Umi. Okay, Waka Ikari again, a much higher ranked wrestler. He's got as an opponent tomorrow. Shirokuma, who's 6-3, taking on the man who's 8-1. Shishi, who's 8-1, has 6-3 Oshomi. So that's a good matchup. Ryuden 7-2, Fujiseun. Tochi Taikai 7-2, taking on Shiden. Asakoru 6-3, Tomokaze. Aonishiki is already, toward the top, so he's at J5. He's got a J1, Satanaumi, and then the other J5 has the other J1. Okay, so no big matchups. Let me just double check to make sure he hasn't fought Shishi yet. He has not. So that's a big matchup coming up. The two men from Ukraine fighting each other. And, they might save that for day 15 if they're both, have the same record and they're both still doing really well. Uh, Aonishiki versus Shishi maybe on one of the final, day 14 or day 15. That could be a big showdown. And Waka Ikari should have to fight both of them, fairly soon. He hasn't fought either Aonishiki or Shishi, so that's coming up for him if he keeps winning. Okay, up into the top division for day 10. We're starting out with Nishikigi versus Nishiki Fuji. Now that Kitsunawaka dropped out, we're back down to not needing a Juryo man to come up to fill in a slot anymore. Tokiate has Onokatsu, Kageyaki versus Midori Fuji. See any of the big matchups. Hakuoho has Oshoma. Takara Fuji, the veteran, 37 years old, has Shonana Umi. Takeda Fuji, the up-and-comer, at 7-2. They haven't really brought him up to fight anybody really higher ranked yet, but he has Ichiyamamoto tomorrow, who's 6-3. Tamawashi has Oho. That's a fun matchup for day 10. I'll probably put that up on the channel. Endo Itami Fuji, Takayasu versus Takanosho. Chiyoshima. Okay, so they brought him up to fight an M1. That's his highest ranked opponent so far. Uh, and they still haven't had him fight any of the. I don't think he's fought any of the Komusubi. Yep, nope, no Komusubi or Sekewake yet for Chiyoshima, but my guess is that's in his near future. Here is Kimbozan all the way up from Maegashira 14 to fight Komusubi Abi because of his 9-0 record. Abi's 5-4. Wakataka Kage has Tobi Zaru. Ura has Wakamoto Haru. Gonoyama takes on Ono Sato. Hoshoru tries to bounce back from two losses in a row now against Sekewake Daisho tomorrow. Both men 6-3. So whoever loses this match, I would say, is out of the hunt for the cup. And if it's Hoshoru, then like I said, I don't even think he'll win the Yusho, let alone get promoted to Yokozuna this tournament. And then final match of the day, Kotozakura versus Hirada Umi. Hirada Umi, after beating Hoshoru today, getting a fair amount of white envelopes with cash in them. Could have another big payday here if he can beat Kotozakura in the final match of the day on day 10. So some big matchups, and we'll keep an eye on the leaders, of course. Okay. Over on Patreon in the collection today, I was using my DVR mostly to do a lot of the match coverage, but I broke out the Ozeki matches into individual videos, Kotozakura Ura, and then the big Hoshoru Hirada Umi match there. Then I put four matches in one video. So you got Oho, you got Wakataka Kage, you got Abi in here, you got Sekewake Wakamoto Haru, and then I had Chiyoshima in his own video, and the Kimbozan Takeda Fuji combined with the Hakuoho Meisei match here. And that was the extent of my coverage, I think, right? Yep, that's yesterday, Shodai or Soshoru. So that was the footage I had. Only 6 videos, but at least 10 matches. So not bad. So thank you to everybody that's gone by Patreon. There is that code to use, and if you use JAN 2025 Jan 2025 when you sign up, you can get 15% off your first month. If you want to do monthly, or if you want to pay all at once for an annual membership, you can get 15% off. So whatever 15% off of $12 is will get you in at the cheapest level. So not bad. All right, standings for the contest. Rick continues to dominate with his team, and he is now 3 points ahead of anybody else in the pack. Looking very likely that he'll be the champion this time around. because he has a very solid team. Even though Hoshoru lost today, um, and Takeda Fuji lost today because he fought Kimbozan, right? He can only get one win here. I think all of these guys are going to continue to get wins. Got a very good team up there at the top. Then we have an eight-way tie for second place. Uh, Inspiration Lady is new. Nick Show is new. Brother Bede is new. Brutus has often been in the top of the uh, contest before. I think he even won a prize, Brutus, last year. Let me know in the comments if that's true. Brutus and Kay is in there. And then we have the third place people, six-way tie for third. I moved up a little bit. Where am I? Here I am. So I've got 68 of you are ahead of me. I'm tied in the seventh place slot with 35 points with my team. So I'm not doing terrible. And my guys should continue to get wins. I'm pretty confident that I can maybe finish in the top 50, which means I need to get up here into the five grouping. So we'll see how I do by the end of the tournament. That's the standings. And then what was I going to show you over on YouTube? Was I going to show you something? No, I don't think so. Okay. We looked ahead to day 10. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. Kind of short and sweet, but we got it done. Um, yeah, what do you guys think? Now that Hoshoru third loss. And like I said, all against rank and file. I think given, the other things about him, the fact that he's never won a Yusho as an Ozeki and didn't have to fight Teruno Fuji, I think there's just too many asterisks now for him to get promoted to Yokozuna. And my guess is he's going to lose at least one more and go down to four losses. So, he obviously, you have to see the match today. It wasn't a Henka by any means, but Hirata Umi just, got out of Hoshoru's way and he went down to the clay. So, uh, he definitely full contact at the Tachiai and everything. So no shade to Hirata Umi. It was a very good win. And yeah, Hoshoru, when you want to be the top ranked guy in the whole sport, you can't be losing to that level of opponent early in a tournament. So I think he's going to have to wait and try to, bounce back and get some more uh, show under his belt. And, I'm not saying it's not going to happen for him later this year or even next year, but I don't think it's going to happen in March. And so, what'll that mean for just as a weird sidebar, we were talking in the sumo card collecting chat room on Facebook that the fact that the new cards, when they're made, because the first card set usually comes out in January and the next card set comes out in May. And the cards that are made for the May set, the May box, are based on the March Banzuke. And we won't have a Yokozuna. So for the first time in the history of modern BBM cards, uh, we won't have a card number one Yokozuna card. So that's really kind of weird. So it'll be interesting to see which Ozeki they pick to be number one in the card set. It'll probably be the Ozeki that has the most wins up to that point or something. But yeah, but we'll cross all those bridges and have those chats as we get more toward the end of the bus show, and then I do the wrap up video. The bus show obviously ends on Sunday the 26th, and then I'll do the wrap up video. I might wait until February 1st just to make sure, I hear any news along that week, and then we'll do the wrap up video that weekend, that next weekend, the first weekend of February. So, okay. Thanks for watching today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. See you on day 10 for the Sumo Summary Show. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.